bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with another new shoe review. Today we have the Adidas Supernova Rise 3, the latest edition in the Adidas comfort-oriented daily trainer franchise. So if you are looking for a new shoe, maybe something like this, or the Vomero Plus, or the Evo SL, or the Mega Blast, you are in the right place, and an even better place would be the Supple app. So Supple app is my app, and it's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there, and it's the best place to find deals on shoes like this, because somebody might buy it, they put a run on it doesn't work for them, so they list on the app well below MSRP and pass along a deal to a hobby jogger like you. So if you like saving money on running gear, or you want to be part of the best hobby jogger community getting after it daily, putting in work, we're grinding on the community challenge right now, and you can still join. It's not too late. You can join any week. This week's question is going to be posting your turkey trot kit, and the whole goal of the DQ challenge is to run or walk every day through the holidays. If that appeals to you, you want to save some money, be a part of the best community of sickos, get in with us and enjoy today's video. Bang! We are back today with another new shoe. I don't know why I'm saying another. This is the first new shoe review in eons, man. Eons. Nothing has been coming out recently, and then bang, all of a sudden last week, because I refreshed the Running Warehouse new releases page like an absolute fiend, a Peba fiend, all of a sudden, boom, bang, boom, 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 bop. What's the boom, 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 bang, boom, bop, bam? I don't know the exact phraseology there, but boom, I saw Adidas Supernova Rise 3, and I said, thank the polymer lords. We have a new shoe release because there's been a drought out here. We're talking about VO2 Max. We're talking about running economy. Yikes, nobody cares about stuff like that. We're doing training videos that no one's watching. We're reviewing running watches. We're even reviewing pods. Can you believe this? We're reviewing tech pods that go on your foot. It's an absolute nightmare out here doing 5K race vlogs. Ugh, need some mouthwash to get that out. You know what we care about? New daily trainers. That's the most important thing in this running journey. Buying new shoes, selling shoes, trading shoes, anything about shoes. That's really all that matters when it comes to running. So today we have a new shoe, Adidas Supernova Rise 3. It's the 3. And you know what? I didn't even test the 2. I test pretty much everything because, again, that's the most important thing about running. Getting a lot of shoes, testing a lot of shoes, running one time in every shoe possible. That's how you become a better runner. Having a lot of shoes, being interested in shoes. But I didn't even get the 2 of this, so I did get the 1. This is the Supernova Rise 1 from Adidas. And man, I've really been... Hold on. A Supernova Rise OG from Adidas. So this was Adidas's attempt to create the most comfortable daily trainer out there. That was the entire philosophy behind the Supernova Rise line. Or the Supernova line, they have the Rise, the Prima, and the Solution. Those are the 3 core shoes in the Supernova lineup. So the Rise is the standard daily trainer. Historically, it's been a 10 millimeter drop, meaning you have a difference of 10 millimeters between the front and the back. So higher up in the front with a very chunky heel. This was actually one of my issues with both the Rise and the Prima. These heels are just so chunky. Even as more of a heel striker at my relaxed paces, I found this cumbersome and unnecessary, almost super blast levels with how much chop and chunk you're getting in the heel. Made no sense to me, but 10 millimeter drop historically, dual foam, and you can see this gray piece here. They call it a support rod or support rods, and it's supposed to mimic the bones of your foot, or no, is it supposed to mimic the tendons of your foot? Some marketing thing where these 5 gray pieces are supposed to mimic some sort of element that's in your foot to provide support. I don't know if it actually does that or how much it makes a difference, but the idea here is stability. As with most dual foam shoes where you have a firmer foam on the bottom, it's designed to guide the foot, provide some support, and make sure that it's not all wobbling around from having a super soft foam. I found in the Rise, but mostly in the Prima, and I did test the Prima too, I found that the EVA on the bottom here, because that's what it is, standard EVA, I found that it was just muting the Dreamstrike Plus. So that's the third thing about this shoe. You get the Peba foam or some sort of race foam blend that's been made to be a more approachable training foam. And it's never fully been allowed to breathe because of what they've done with the support rod. So I'm hoping with this new update in the Rise 3, what they're doing 8mm drop. They're also reducing the prominence of the support rods, and they're reworking the Dreamstrike Plus foam. I'm really hoping that this will deliver a different experience that isn't as restrained, because this has been a good shoe. The Rise has always been a very solid shoe, man. It's a type of shoe that if you're looking for a running shoe, you pick this up for $70. You're not going to be mad. It's not a crazy banger or anything. It's not the fastest shoe out there. It's not the lightest, but a very solid workman-like shoe that leans to the comfort side. I'm hoping that this update can elevate it up to maybe that Nova Blast category. And man, there are just so many good shoes on the market. A few of the ones that I've been rocking with recently that I want to highlight today. Bang, Puma Velocity Nitro 4, $140. This is a lower stack daily trainer, flexible forefoot, lots of pop in here. Puma also has the Magnify at $160. Exciting foam here, and Puma has done a nice job bringing something energetic and lively to the table at the $140 price point. Now, if we swing to the other side of the daily training spectrum, I mean, look at this thing rocking and rolling here. We have the Rad UFO, and you can switch this out for whatever your training shoe is of choice right now, the Hyperion Max 3, the Mega Blast, the Vomero Plus. But once you start going $180 plus, there's a lot of fun, exciting shoes. And if you're watching this channel, it's likely that you train in this type of a shoe. So for me, this $140 category, yes, it exists for a reason. Cross-country athletes, people who want one shoe for walking and running. But for the dedicated runner, the shoe enthusiast, the mileage degenerate, it's almost this fallacy of affordability, or this false promise of having something that we're going to get a lot of miles in that's a workhorse. We don't reach for these shoes a lot, and for them to be something that we purchase, they need to truly elevate themselves out of the category, like the Nova Blast has done, like the Velocity has done for me, or something like the Evo SL, like that has done at $150. And of course, Adidas already has the Evo, and that's their viral hit in the $140 to $160 $160 segment. So with that, I'm hoping that the Rise 3 can at least deliver a more comfortable ride that's not as restrained and clunky as the old Rise, and at best, maybe it can be a Velocity killer or a Nova Blast killer. So with that, let us take it out of the box. Bada boom, bada bang, woo, bada bop. This is straight up one of the worst colorways I have ever seen on any running shoe. So the reason I bought this is not Adidas' fault, or it is their fault for coming out with this orange colorway. Man, this is terrible. This looks like something Gen Z would wear. This is not a millennial-approved colorway, man. This is truly horrible. Gosh. But no, the reason I got this is because I saw this. I told you, I saw it go up on the Adidas website, and I said, ooh, new shoe. I need to buy it immediately because there's been no new shoes on the channel. And then a few hours later, they had this tan colorway pop up on Running Warehouse that was much better than this. This is not a good colorway, man. This orange is hideous. This already looks outdated. This already looks like it's on sale for $70. I can't believe I paid full price for this colorway. It's just truly horrendous. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it looks like we're getting more of a chunk of foam, a higher stack in the back here. Like I said, they reduced the prominence or eliminated. It looks like they've eliminated altogether the support rods here. So yeah, 100% of this Dreamstrike Plus, at least to the eyes. Do they do anything? Yeah, 100% of the Dreamstrike Plus. Will be interesting to see how the stability goes with that, but maybe they've ditched this being a more stable shoe and left that to the solution. They've also gone down to 8mm drop, and I could just see in the front here from the eye test, you're getting more foam under the forefoot than the Supernova Rise 1. By the way, the 2 was just an upper update, so it was the same midsole as the 1 here. Other things, light traction outsole now versus rubber. So this is a CPU compound. I learned it was invented in China, and its primary application was skateboard wheels, allegedly. I'm not sure. Oh, is there still school? Oh, man, that's nice. Dude, public school is still in school. I'm going to start sending these kids to public school. Classic, man. Private schools, they're at home today. They say pay more, get less. What are we even paying for out here, man? Lateral landing platform. So that's some new tech. Lateral landing platform. So I guess with this big piece of rubber in the back, maybe this is what's designed to provide that stability now. Look at that. It goes all the way across, so we'll see how that performs. They still had that in the last one, though. But yeah, I think ditching that EVA, that's going to be a huge thing for the ride of the shoe. We'll finally get a chance at seeing how the Dreamstrike Plus performs without being inhibited by an older, firmer foam. Also, they said that this foam is now 20% softer and bouncier. I gotta say, to the push test here, it doesn't feel super soft. It's maybe Vomero Plus levels with that ZoomX. So nice. This could be a Vomero Plus Light. That could be a banger, right? That would be a really nice shoe. But yeah, looks horrible. Feel of the foam, decent. Rubber coverage or CPU coverage, good. Overall, looks like it could be a solid shoe. Let's get some specs. You know what the only thing worse than failing is? Not trying. Not trying. You got to try different things in life, man. You got to switch it up and evolve. If what you're doing isn't working, you can't be stagnant just doing the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. No, we switch it up, we evolve, because the only thing worse than failing is not trying. All right, old Supernova, so this is the Rise 1. I'm guessing the Rise 2 was a little lighter because they did an upper update, but this is just a baseline, around 300 grams, 303 grams. If we go on the lightest end of the spectrum in terms of this daily trainer category, velocity, we get 235. And then if we go into the high-end, max stack, fun end of the daily trainer spectrum, something like the Rad, we get 269. Evo would be right around this, 250 to 260 in my size. Mega Blast is around 250. Hyperion Max 3 is actually all the way up at 300. But both of these categories of shoes, the lightweight daily trainers and the more max stack or the super trainers, are going to be lighter than something like the Supernova, a standard daily trainer. So let's see. Let's throw this guy on the scale here. Let me take this off with my knife. All right, Supernova Rise 3. Yeah, I am really not a fan of this colorway, dude. It's not good. It's not good. Look at that. They've lightened it up by 10 grams. I'm guessing you also have more foam here. It looks chunkier in the heel. So 291.6 grams in the Rise 3. That's on the left side. And then if we go on the right side here, bang, 290. Good job. Nice QA. Let's get the stack check. All right, Supernova Rise OG. Let's get a stack check on this guy. Rise OG in the back here. Ooh, all the way down at 33. I don't think this actually has a ton of miles on it either. It probably only has around 40 to 60 miles on it. So 33 millimeters in the back. I'm guessing it was closer up to mid-high 30s out of the box. But still, that's pretty low compared to what I think we're going to get here. This one seems like it's closer to 40. But let's see. So no support rods, lighter, and potentially higher stack. Let's check. Bang. All right, there we go. No, it's still not up at 40. It really looks tall, man. We're only getting 37.8 here on the left side. Let's take the right side. So not a max stack shoe. Right side, same thing, 37 millimeters. Yeah, not a max stack shoe. Standard daily trainer. Specs are very standard for what this is. $140, 37 millimeters, 290 grams in my size. Very standard. Let's see if it's a standard ride out there, or maybe it will give us something different. I'm really hoping it gives us something slightly more exciting than standard, but there's only one way to find out. To real fall, early winter again this week. It's been all over the place, man. Last week we were up at the 70s again, but lacing up the Supernova Rise 3. Maybe this is the official turkey trot colorway with this monochromatic orange look. I guess it's dual chromatic because then you have the gray up at the top, but it gives me monochromatic vibes because of the colored midsole. I just don't like colored midsoles. I don't know, something about it, man. And maybe it would have been better if they actually went full monochrome, right? Because this is a half measure. You have the orange on the bottom, and then on the top, you have the gray. Regardless, lacing it up here, very stiff upper. Everything about this shoe feels stiff, and this is not as comfortable as I thought. Yeah, kind of a weird upper. Feels stiff and cheap. Is that the one Adidas issue? If we had to give every brand one issue to fix, would it be the uppers on Adidas? I think their uppers are just terrible across their shoes. Yeah, this is a horrible upper, man. This is not good. And these are the issues that generally go away once you start running. But anytime something sticks out to me, that just means it's notable and different from the category because I test so many shoes. This is notably bad, the upper. It just feels very stiff and cheap. Even the back, the heel counter and the collar, yeah, there's padding, but it's just stiff. I'm sure it will break in, but it's just not a nice feeling. Man, some shoes, for example, that Rad UFO, Vomero Plus is another one. Some shoes, you just lace it up and it's a pleasant experience. So I was at the auto show yesterday and I sat in a bunch of different cars with Reevesy, and it was the same thing, right? You sit in some cars and you're just, man, this is nice. This is a nice interior. You can't quite put your finger on what it is. The favorite car that I sat in yesterday, I was actually super surprised, was the Land Rover Defender. That thing was just clean on the inside. Clean. It got me wanting to trade in my Jeep. Just clean, right? Same thing with these shoes, man. Some shoes, the Rad UFO, the Vomero Plus, the best shoes, you just lace them up and there's a vibe to it. There's a feel. This does not have that vibe and the feel. And it's weird because the Supernova Rise was always a comfortable shoe. They actually put the Prima tongue on this thing. The whole point of the Rise is that it's supposed to be a super comfortable daily trainer. They put a weird thin tongue on this. Take a look at this compared to the old one. So look, this is the OG, and if you can see the tongue here, it's pillowy. It's all pillowy and padded. So yeah, the step and feel of this is not super comfortable, and it doesn't feel that soft either. I don't know. Let's do a walk test. So I'm not loving this so far. A few things. The heel still feels very chunky. It almost feels like it has a 10 millimeter drop. I don't know if this makes sense. It feels like it has a 10 millimeter drop, but with more foam under the forefoot. Because the classic 10 millimeter drop issue is the chunky, clunky heel. This still has some of that with how bulbous it is in the back. And if you think about a shoe like the Super Blast, that's only an 8 millimeter drop as well, but it just feels very clunky and chunky. So that's the first thing. Second, this upper is huge. This is huge. This feels like a size 11 or 11 and a half. My toe comes up to right here. I have almost an inch of room. That is not typically how much space I have in my daily trainers. This is at least a half an inch to a quarter of an inch more room than I would expect. And you could even see it on the upper, just very high volume in a way that is not the most pleasant. It's just unexpected. It just feels like it's a half size too big, which is weird because the Adi Star was a half size too small. Adidas has just been all over the place with the sizing. So the sizing and fit inconsistencies are still here. I'm not going to tell you to size down if you're planning to get this because, I don't know, it could just be my pair. That's the thing with Adidas. You don't know what you're going to get. So, yeah, this does fit a little too big. And, again, it's not the hugest issue in a daily trainer. It's fine. I could run in a size 11 if I needed to, and I have in the past, but it just doesn't feel as dialed as I would want it to. And then the whole 20% softer thing, this doesn't feel as soft as I would expect given what they're saying. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a brick or anything, but just I'm not getting a lot of compression. Look at this. Putting all my weight on it. I don't know. Not getting a ton of compression. Oh, look at that. We got some lines here. So we'll just have to see. It doesn't feel like it's going to be an uncomfortable shoe or a terrible shoe or anything, but just the sizing and fit issues that Adidas has still here, and it doesn't feel as dialed and precise as I would like it to. But maybe that's what you're getting out of a $140 shoe. But the thing is, the market has gotten so competitive that if I'm recommending a shoe at all, it's got to be on point. And this just has some issues that are not on point. Hopefully, the midsole and the ride experience can save it. So with that, plan for this run. Nice recovery run or aerobic run. I did a 20-mile long run yesterday. No pace target or anything. Just get out there, move the legs for 45 minutes to an hour, 10 minutes. Maybe throw some strides in there if I'm feeling it. But just put some mileage on the shoe, see how it performs. Let us do it. Man, I know it seems like a small thing, the tongue, but the lack of padding on this tongue for a shoe like this, that's almost a fatal error. It's really uncomfortable and unpleasant on the top. I'm getting some lace bite. I also did a retie on the left side here because I realized I forgot to put the pod on. So I retied, put the pod on, and it's still not the most comfortable. And I'm sure it will go away once I start running. These things typically do, but step in feel and basic comfort, that is just such a big part of a shoe like this. It just needs to feel good when you put it on. And this one, the upper most certainly does not. But all right, ride experience here, getting to it. This is not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, very simple feeling shoe. Good comfort, some bounce to it. Some Goldilocks. So my heart rate monitor keeps saying low battery. Thought I charged it. Early overreaction. Solid, man. Solid B+. Yeah, the upper is horrible, but the underfoot experience is nice. The protection is also great. This does feel like more of a max cushion shoe. Also, geometry on this is nice for relaxed miles. You get the substantial heel with good protection in the forefoot. It's not encouraging me to pick up the pace too much. That can be the issue with shoes like the Rad and the Nike. They just want you to go fast all the time. This one has more of a relaxed feel to it. Yeah, it could be a good recovery / cruiser type shoe. I just wish the upper were better, man. Small, big things, man. Small, big things. Devil's in the details, but the angel's in the mileage. It's the thing I'm realizing recently. I'm not 25 anymore. I don't have time for this cheap stuff. I don't. I'm a dad of 3. I'm a homeowner. I mean, look at this. I'm a homeowner. I'm a dad of 3. I'm in my 30s now. I don't have time for these rinky-dink uppers. I don't have time for plasticky car interiors, man. We off that. I need my stuff to be refined, put together nicely. I need my stuff to last the test of time. I'm in the era where I'm okay paying 20 to 40 extra dollars for something that's nice. I'm not on that bargain bin boy stuff anymore. And this is the thing, you gotta go through different phases of life. And it's okay to be there, but acknowledge where we are now. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So when I see a cheap upper, it's just, come on, man. Come on, man. It's a base model type energy. Ride experience of this though, it's actually nice. Nice recovery shoe. Foam is pretty similar to that Vomero Plus stuff. Really is. Yeah, taking out those support rods works wonders for this. You can actually feel the bounce
of the Dreamstrike Plus is nice. What do I look like getting lace bite, bro? Me getting lace bite? The Max Cushion Gang Don getting lace bite? Nah, we off that. Getting lace bite. Nah, I haven't run in a shoe with lace bite since 2017. You guys talking about lace bite. If a shoe has lace bite, it sits on the shoe market floor and doesn't come off. I look like running a shoe with lace bite. You got more shoes in the crib than your local Fleet Feet, man. I'm not running in a shoe with lace bite. My one, 820. This is a nice recovery shoe. It really is. Good bounce. That chunky heel is working in its favor. And man, there's just something so good, so sweet, so nice about a dialed midsole, man. It's disappointing when you get a cheap upper slapped on a good midsole, but midsole don't lie. Midsole don't lie. You could put a Zapato upper on this thing and it'll still be a nice shoe for a recovery jog. The midsole always tells the truth. You could do gimmicks with cutouts and plates and geometries, but man, a good midsole will always give you a nice ride. And this is a nice compound here. It's balanced, it's comfortable, it's responsive, it's protective. It's a very solid daily trainer. The upper is just Kia Sorento 2017 base model energy, man. I need that Land Rover Defender upper, baby. These low mileage guys been calling me entitled. I am entitled, man. I'm 30 now. I know what I like, and I'm not afraid to say it. Mile 2, 7:31. Yeah, I don't know about softer, but bouncier, yes. It says great bounce, man. This really gets going. I'm so glad they allowed the Dreamstrike Plus to breathe, because it's a unique foam. It's different than anything else. Man, I might have to do a retie. This lace bite is unpleasant. Yeah, so this one has the pod, but it's really on both of them. And you can see I don't have them tied super tight or anything. This is what I'm saying. The upper is big. They're tied almost loose, but I'm getting a lace bite. This is just not an issue that you want in a standard daily trainer like this. These are supposed to be the no nonsense, nothing wrong with them shoes. I don't know why it's so hard for Adidas to come up with a good upper. The upper on the Supernova Prima, which this almost feels more similar to the Prima than the last Rise, but the upper on the Prima has always been horrible, especially on the Prima OG. I do think the padded tongue could solve a lot of those issues, but I guess they're chasing weight savings by nixing the padded tongue. I don't know, and maybe they nixed it in the past generation too, in the Rise too. I wouldn't know because I didn't test it, but come on, man. It's just these little things that make it feel like a bargain bin shoe. But the midsole is not bargain bin. The midsole is great so far. Hopefully that retie solves the issues. It's just things like this that make me wonder, do they get people to test these shoes? How do they put it to market with issues like this? Doesn't make any sense. This upper is still bothering me. And the left one more so. That's where I have the pod. But I've now tried the pod with, I don't know, 7 shoes. And it hasn't bothered me at all, except in these. And I was also having issues before I even clipped the pod on. So, just not dialed. So this is actually a good shoe, man. This might be the best $140 daily trainer now. Or is it $150? Regardless, this is really good. But the marketing, it's not really there. I haven't seen anything for it. The design is kind of weird. And then the upper. So this might be a niche deep cut that doesn't get the attention it deserves. Mile 5, 7:30. This is super nice, man. I really like this shoe. This might be Adidas's best daily trainer. I wish we could put a Nimbus upper on this. That might be my favorite daily trainer if we could do something like that. That's really the one thing holding this shoe back, because the ride is fantastic. Smooth and bouncy, comfortable and controlled. It was super nice. This is like a nice Larry June Alchemist beat right here.
Alright, well, GoPro died out there while I was talking about something nonsensical, so we will just probably cut that part. Anyway, 8 miles in the books in the Supernova Rise 3. Supernova Rise 3, low battery. I also do have a meeting soon. 7:35 pace, 1 hour, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. Nice 8-mile recovery run. Efficiency, 100%. So this efficiency metric on Coros, this is actually a measurement of running economy. I really like it because if your heart rate is higher than it anticipates at that pace, you'll have a lower efficiency score. If your heart rate is lower at the pace, it will give you a higher score. For me, it always says my efficiency is awesome anytime I do a workout, which tells me that my running economy at the slower paces isn't great. But who cares? That's not really what we want running economy to be great for. We want our running economy to be better at faster paces anyway. Let's see, average heart rate 138. What was the pace? 735, and it said our efficiency was good. I guess that makes sense. Anyway, solid shoe here, man. It nets out to solid. Actually, before I take this off, look at this. This is what I'm saying, man. The pod on my foot here, it slid all the way over to the side. I haven't had that issue happen with any other shoe. It's just something about this upper with the lacing and how loose it feels. It's just not dialed. It's not. And for me, these are the little things that can make or break a daily trainer. I just want something that feels good, that feels reliable, that's comfortable. This just has this stiff and rigid feel on the upper. It's almost like the midsole of this shoe is an A or an A+, and everything else is a B-. It just, something about it kind of feels cheap in entry level. And I know it's supposed to be entry level. It is a more affordable shoe, but things like uppers, tongue, laces, they cost very little to manufacture. It's not like it's a cost savings thing. It's an engineering and design error here. So some things to work on, but I've got to say the Dreamstrike Plus upgraded compound with the removal of the support rise, it's a great move, man. It's a great move. This thing feels really nice underfoot. Supernova Rise 3. Now, if you watch this channel before, you've heard me talk about trade-offs, right? Every shoe, you make sacrifices in one area to get something in another area. There are pros and cons to everything. There's no such thing as a perfect product. There's no such thing as a perfect run. There's no such thing as a perfect life. There's always sacrifices. There's always things that can be improved. But with this thing, this is particularly frustrating because some of the issues with it, some of the cons didn't have to be there. This didn't have to have the trade-offs it does. So let's start with the good things. Good things, the ride experience, man. Smooth, comfortable, bouncy, fun. It does have some fun to it, and typically when you get a shoe like this one of these standard daily trainers or something like the Ghost Max, right? New Balance 880 V15. It's all about the reliability. It's all about just having something basic, no frills to get the job done. This midsole, what they've done with the Dreamstrike Plus, it does elevate it. It does put it closer to that Vomero Plus Nova Blast 5 cam. Now, I'm not saying it's as good as either of those shoes, but this does have the potential to be one of those special shoes that people really like. Now, one of the odd things about it, and what I was talking about out there, they haven't really put any marketing attention to this. I just saw it pop up on Running Warehouse. I didn't see a whole lot of hoopla about it. I haven't seen Adidas pushing it that much. I don't think they sent it out to any of the main reviewers yet, and maybe they're gonna do a big thing at it or with it at TRE and they're saving it for that, but odd to launch it a week before and then not do any push when it releases. So I don't know, weird thing, but the midsole is really nice. I love it. This has the potential to be one of the best training midsoles out there. It doesn't 100% remind me of one exact thing, but what would come to mind the most, I think, is the DNA Loft V3 in the Ghost Max and the Asics FF Blast Plus, but more energetic than the Ghost Max one, bouncier, also slightly softer than that Ghost Max, and then slightly, I don't know if firmer, but maybe more bounce to it as well than the FF Blast Plus. So really nice midsole foam. That is what's saving this shoe and making it a fun ride. Also, you can see we have some break-in lines here. Now, downsides, it feels very unrefined, very unpolished, and extremely rough around the edges. And it's so odd to me that it's often these shoes from the bigger brands that are like that, right? We think of Adidas as this sportswear titan. Shouldn't they have things like uppers perfected down to a perfect science? How is it that brands like Tracksmith and Rad come up with better uppers than Nike and Adidas? Well, it's because they have fewer shoes, so they put attention to detail. It's almost like these big guys, they don't care. They know that this thing is gonna sell in numbers anyway, so it's just, how can we get the unit cost to be as cheap as possible and make money on the margin? It seems like that's what they've done with the upper here, but I really think that there's some little changes they could make, like the sizing of it, that wouldn't have cost any money. It's just really odd. And then this material, it's just, I don't know, it's not the best. It feels scratchy. The tongue is not padded at all. I was getting some lace bite, and it's just hard to get the laces to cinch down appropriately. Now, kudos to them, though, for not doing any gimmicks with this. It's not like the Vomero Plus, where you're gonna have an eyelet snap or anything, because they just did a normal lacing system, but still, it's just not as refined as it could have been. And they did have that padded tongue on the Supernova Rise OG that I much preferred to this. If you're going for a comfort-oriented shoe, just put a padded tongue on it. And I know maybe it's my fault that I put all the shoes on the scale, and I know a lot of people do that too. So maybe brands are just trying to chase the lightest possible weight, but it's a daily trainer. It's a daily trainer. Who cares if it's 10 or 15 grams heavier? Give us the padded tongue, because the laces were really throwing me off this entire run. It just felt really unrefined and unpolished. So that's my major issue with it, but the ride is comfortable, fun, bouncy, smooth, everything I want in a normal daily shoe. If we throw up this run, it was about 8 miles at a 7:30 pace or something like that. So nice, normal, everyday run. It felt perfect there, buttery, had just enough pep without forcing me to run too fast. And then in the beginning, when I was slower, warming up into it, it felt really nice as well. Now, you get this big chunk of foam on the heel. I was thinking that this was gonna make it feel clunkier. It did not. However, if you're more of a forefoot striker, you might find this kind of annoying, because it does want you to land midfoot to rear foot. But if you are naturally landing back there, or you want a recovery running shoe, this could be a really nice option. I know a lot of people recently have been finding issue with the bigger, heavier, clunkier recovery shoes. If you don't want a Vomero Premium, if you don't want something like the Glide Ride Max or the Glizzy Max, this could be a nice alternative for those normal everyday miles or more relaxed recovery miles. So with that, let us close it out with the 3 questions we always ask and answer in these first run reviews. First, how does this compare to its intended purpose? Designed to be a daily trainer, a workhorse, a shoe for normal everyday miles, for walking. It's good for that, right? I'm not gonna say it nails it or knocks it out of the park, but it's good for that. I will give it a solid B+. Reason it's a B+ for that is because with this type of a shoe, I want 0 issues. For a normal everyday shoe, it should be flawless when it comes to lacing it up and putting it on and walking around. It just has weirdness to it. These should be the no weirdness shoes. And this upper is weird. It just straight up is, and I'm sure it will be fine once it breaks in and you get used to it, but the fit isn't dialed and the tongue isn't dialed. The laces aren't dialed. I've talked about this till I'm orange in the face. Number 2, how does this compare to the other shoes in the category? So I opened up the video talking about the Nova Blast. I was also talking about the Velocity, and I was talking about the Rad and the Vomero Plus. So those are some of the other daily shoes people are using. But if we go straight category, Ghost, 880, you could throw the Velocity in there. This is in the mix, right? And especially if we're going Ghost, 880, Pegasus, this is probably the best one now. This is the best training foam out there at that price point. Really nice, and I think for the type of buyer who typically goes for this shoe, this is gonna be perfect. It has the comfort, but it also has the pep, and if you had to race in this as someone who's getting one shoe, I think it would be solid. However, if you are a cross-country kid, or if you're looking for a shoe for racing as well as training, probably wouldn't be my first pick, because it does feel more cushion. You have almost 30 millimeters or above 30 millimeters in the forefoot here. So I might go for something like the Velocity over this for racing. But for everyone else out there who's looking for a normal shoe compared to the category, really nice. Now, number 3, compared to everything else on the market, how does this do? Man, this almost feels like a max stack shoe. So you're getting more than what you pay for in terms of the foam. The foam feels like it could be a $160 or even $170 ride experience. And this has got me really excited for the Supernova Prima. Actually, I don't know if they're doing the update to that. I've heard they're coming out with a new shoe called, is it the Glide? It's something different that they're coming out with. But this has me excited for whatever the max stack version of this is gonna be, because the foam is fantastic. It feels like it could be up there at a $170 price point. It's just the upper is really the one thing holding it back. But versus a max cushion shoe, you're gonna get a lighter feel underfoot than something like the Nimbus. Is also lighter than the Vomero Plus, not as cushioned. And that is the other thing with it. Once I got to that 5 mile, 6 mile mark, I could feel that it was a 30 something millimeter shoe. It's not low, my feet aren't slamming against the ground or anything, but doesn't feel as protective as a Vomero Plus or a Mag Max. But that's what you're paying for, right? You have slightly less foam, and it is a slightly nimbler, peppier feel here. So with that, the totality of the shoe, this is a B+, A- range. Very solid to good. The midsole experience in the ride is really nice. It's smooth, peppy, cushioned, enjoyable all around, but it's just the upper is holding it back. So if you don't care that much about the upper, or you want to switch out the laces, that could fix it. It just, feels slightly unrefined. And the other thing with this shoe is just the it factor. Some of these shoes have that it factor, right? Lacing up the Vomero Plus, lacing up the Rad UFO. Even what I'm wearing right now, the More V5, man, one of the most comfortable shoes when you lace it up. This does not have it. It just feels a step below. It feels base model. It feels like a budget shoe, unfortunately, because the foam is so great. Very similar to what I was saying about the Tier Maverick last week and the week before. That midsole was really good. It was just the upper holding it back. So similar issues here to the Tier Maverick, but if you're looking for a comfort-oriented workhorse, you want to try something different, I would give this one a shot. I think for bigger runners who really find softer foams too squishy, this one might be right on the line, but it's a lot more substantial than something like the Nova Blast. So where I would put it is not as soft as the Nova Blast, or definitely not as soft as a fresh foam shoe, but not as firm as what you're gonna get out of the Ghost Max or even the Bandai. This is slightly softer than something like the Bandai. So if you found the Bandai too soft, I know people who are 250 plus can tend to find the Bandai too soft. So if you found the Bandai too soft, this will be too soft. But if you want something slightly firmer than the Nova Blast with a similar energetic ride, this will be a great pick. So stay tuned. I will probably be getting some more miles in this. It was enjoyable. Thumbs up, B+, A-. I think if they did an update to this, just fix the upper, put something like the Nimbus upper on here, that'd be a complete banger. Man, Nimbus upper, 4 millimeters more in the back and the front, that'd be one of the best max cushion shoes of 2026. So hopefully that's what we see out of the Adidas camp soon. That is all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.